And we are live. I am here with Michael the Count Bisping. Welcome to the show, Michael.
It is my absolute pleasure to talk with you. How you been?
Really good, thank you. How have you been?
Yeah, not too bad. Busy as always, lots of exciting things on the go. So yeah, can't complain.
Lots of exciting things. And obviously, we're here today to talk about Tales from the Octagon too. You're going to be together with Tom Aspinall and Paul Craig. It sounds like an amazing lineup. And of course, Tom Aspinall could be the heavyweight interim champ by the time he's doing the show.
I
Amazing.
know. It's perfect timing, isn't it? I mean, God bless Tom. I'm so excited for him. He's such a great man. He really is. He's so humble, so likable, and he's very funny as well. So I wish him all the best in 2 weeks. If anyone can do it, it's Big Tom. I truly believe in him. Sergey Pavlovich is no easy task for anybody, but as I say, if anyone can do it, it's Tom Aspinall. And as I say, when people come to tell, as you say, should I say, stop saying say. When they all come, they'll get to meet the new interim heavyweight champion. It's not maybe, it's a guarantee.
I love that. I wasn't sure if you were allowed to make predictions, so I love that. So he's
I'm
definitely
willing
still
to
doing the show, right?
interest. Say again.
He's still going to do the show if he's got a belt on his shoulder. He's not going to be too big
You
to
never
do the
know.
show.
He might big time me then. He might be like, nah, I'm too good for this. I'm sorry, Mike. Or he's going to want his fee doubled or something. He better bloody not. Yeah, listen, Tom's a mate of mine. Great guy. So's Paul as well. Both hilarious in their own way. So very much looking forward to it. The first Tales from the Octagon, I was extremely nervous. I'd never done it before, but it was a roaring success. Everyone had a great time, including myself. So when the opportunity came to do another one, I jumped at the chance and I thought, they've heard enough about my woes. They don't want to hear about my stories of how I lost an eye and stuff like that. So I'll be taking the piss out of everyone involved in mixed martial arts. And then Tom and Paul will join the stage as well. We'll have some laughs. We'll have some banter. Got a few surprises lined up for them. Q&A with the audience and then a meet and greet afterwards.
Amazing. The first show was incredible. I was lucky enough to be there and it
Oh,
really
nice.
was hilarious. And I was really surprised how you I would have thought you were a stand-up comic, like how nerve-wracking was that for you?
I tell you what, I was shitting my pants. I'm not going to lie. Originally, I was supposed to have someone that I did my podcast with on stage with me, but last minute the plans changed. We'll leave it at that. And
Yeah.
so it went from me and my podcast host on stage together to just me by myself. And in Manchester, there was 3,500 people showed up. So nerve-wracking to say the least. Let me see, I've lost an eye. I've been in the cage with Anderson Silva. I've had someone come to my house and try and kill me with a can of petrol. I've had a gun put to my head in South Africa. That was the most terrifying thing I've ever done.
What have you got left to tell us though? Like we've heard, like surely you didn't know you were going to be doing this one, and you put all your good stories into the first one. How many more are there?
Sadly, yeah, no. Listen, sadly, my life is nothing but a drama show. I'm telling you, my wife always says, I could go to the spa and come back with some stupid escapade that I've got myself into. I'm stupid. I'm not the smartest guy in the world. I find myself in a lot of dumb situations. So I do have a few stories to tell, a few more anecdotes, shall we say. And the world of mixed martial arts, there's always something going on. There's always a bit of drama. So there's plenty of other people to make fun of, take the piss out of at their expense, all in good nature, of course, nothing nasty. So yeah, I'm looking forward to it.
Oh, I think we're all looking forward to it as well. What is more nerve-wracking, being in a fight, walking to the cage, or walking on stage for one of those?
I'll tell you this, for that first round of Tales from the Octagon, I got in the best shape of my life since I was a professional fighter, because I kept having dreams that it was a sold out arena, which came true, or a theatre, should I say. And I kept having these dreams that people were getting up and walking out. I was terrified. I kept waking up in the middle of the night going, what have I got myself into? What am I doing? I'm a knucklehead, for crying out loud. I can't do this shit. So, yeah, my appetite wasn't the best. I got my six pack back. But yeah, I remember right before I walked out on stage, I was bricking it. I really was. Anyway, Bruce Buffer did the intro. The music came on. I thought, gotta do it. Ran out on stage, and the crowd were fantastic. They were. I mean, they kept forcing drinks down my neck.
Well, yeah.
Yeah,
There
yeah.
was
So I was
pump
all pissed
after
by
red
the end of
wine
it.
went down, and
But,
then
because the promoter said, he said, do you need anything on stage? I said, oh, maybe a glass of wine. You know what I mean? Just so I can sip on something, something to do with my hands. And as I was talking, I stopped for a second, took a sip of wine, and everyone just started chanting, down it, down it. And I'm like, shit, okay, here we go. So I drink the glass of wine. And then they kept coming up and putting drinks on stage. Glasgow, it was like every show just got worse and worse in terms of the alcohol. You know what I mean? It was not the plan. But in Birmingham, they were coming up, they were putting Jägermeisters, shots of whiskey, all kinds of stuff. In Glasgow, the security had to stop people. Because I even said, at one point there was like 20 drinks on the stage. I'm like, guys, I'm here to try and do a show. Try. I said, if I drink these drinks, I'm going to be absolutely shit-faced. And they were like, yeah, that's the plan. Come on, Bisping, get with it. But I had a few. I played the game. I was a good sport, but come on, I know my limit.
So how drunk did you get in any of the shows? Is there anywhere you can't really remember the end?
I think the final one in Glasgow, I think by that one I'd settled down. So I was a little bit more, you know what I mean? I was like, go on, I'll have a drink. So I wasn't hammered or anything like that, you know what I mean? Nobody wants to see a drunk guy rambling on stage. But I was a little bit jolly. I might have lost my flow once or twice, but I think people prefer it with the freestyling and just having a bit of banter with the audience and whatnot. So yeah, I loved it. It was great.
Definitely, yeah. It's good for them to see you let loose as well and be one of them, because I think the crowd were pretty pissed as well.
Well, if the crowd were anything like they were in Manchester when I defended the belt, then they were definitely hammered. Because in Manchester at 6 o'clock in the morning, I mean,
yeah.
You know what the Brits get like, and certainly when there's a big sporting event. So yeah, I remember walking out in Manchester and the crowd was phenomenal, and I do think they were well oiled, shall we say. And the crowds on those tours, it was exactly the same. But yeah, I mean, hopefully this one won't revolve around me getting hammered on stage, but there will be some. I've got a few games to play with Paul and Tom, and there's definitely going to be some forfeits. So there will be a little bit of shenanigans.
How did you end up? Obviously, Tom's a mate. Is Paul Craig a friend of yours as well? How did it end up being the three of you?
Yeah. So the promoter came to me and said, Michael, with a lot of people are requesting or asking, saying, is there going to be another one? And they said, how about you do it with a couple of guests? And I thought, yeah, of course. Number one, that makes it easier for me. But second, it'll be more fun for everybody. And as we said at the beginning, I've spoke about my life. There's a documentary, there's a book. It's like, geez, what else is there to tell? So, I mean, Tom was an obvious choice because I'm pretty close with Tom. We're good friends. Certainly, he went through that injury that happened last year, and I've been through that myself. So we were in constant communication, and yeah, we've got pretty close. So Tom was a no-brainer. Paul, he's a mate as well. Of course he is. He's been on my podcast a bunch of times, and he's absolutely hilarious. So, as I say, when I thought about it, I thought, what better people? They did suggest some non-MMA people, and I thought it's better to keep it, for like the MMA community, shall we say. But we've got a guy called Daniel O'Reilly, Dapper Laughs. He's a funny comedian. He's going to be opening up this time. So
you're very brave having him.
Again. No, I know. He's a little bit on the controversial side. He's definitely a little bit on the controversial side, but he's not a nasty guy. He's a funny guy. No. When he lectures everyone that he doesn't drink alcohol anymore, we'll fucking see about that on the night. I'll put him to his test. But yeah, no, he's a good guy.
Yeah.
He's just a lot of the time just messing around, having a laugh.
And Paul Craig's obviously got a massive fight coming up as well. He's headlining on November 18th. Are you allowed to give me a prediction for that one? I mean, Paul Craig, he's never in a boring fight, and it's never over till it's over. That guy could be getting beaten to within an inch of his life for 14 minutes and 59 seconds and pull it out the bag. The Ankalaev win, for example.
The last second of the fight. You know what I mean? He took his time. He had us all on the edge of our seat with that one. But yeah, I mean, he is exciting. He really is. He's such an exciting guy. I mean, his style. Shut up, dog. There's a road sweeper or something outside. The dog's losing his mind. Um, yeah, I mean, he's got a very exciting style, leans on his jiu-jitsu a lot, but it makes for great fights. And I'll tell you what, coming down to middleweight, when he fought Andre Muniz in London, I'll be honest, I was concerned for him because Muniz is a very, very good grappler. I mean, he submitted Jacare for crying out loud. So
Yeah.
I was kind of, concerned as a friend for that matchup. I thought, man, that is a tough middleweight debut. But number one, he made weight, no problem. And
He looked
secondly,
great.
finished him in the second round. It was unbelievable. So if he can get through Brendan Allen, right, I think that's
Yeah.
who he's
Yeah.
fighting.
Yeah. Yep.
Yeah, so Brendan Allen, I mean, he's really, really good.
Mm.
He is, and I don't think he gets the credit and the respect that he deserves. So first of all, you got to give it to Paul for taking on those tough matchups straight out
Yeah.
the gate. And if he can beat Brendan, which I'm leaning towards Paul, of course, but it's going to be a tough one. But if he does that, I mean, he's right in the mix. He's right in the conversation. Another win or two, and then things are going to be getting interesting, talking about title eliminators and things like that.
Yeah, it's incredible how much his stand-up's improved since he's moved to higher level and working with James Doolan. Like his striking in the last fight, you don't often see fighters improve that drastically at the end of their career. He's spoken about retirement at the end of last
Yeah,
year, and here he is just looking better than ever. And at middleweight, I didn't think he looked, even on the scales, he didn't look drawn. It just looked right for
yeah.
him.
Yeah, I mean, it's just that, and for want of a cliche term, it's that warrior spirit that he's got. I mean, I
Yeah,
commentated a fight of his against Shogun down in Brazil. And when I first got into MMA, I was the biggest Shogun fan. And granted, he kind of fell off a little bit, as he got older and things like that. But still, in my mind, it's Shogun. He's a legend. And I was like, again, I'm like, Paul, what are you doing? You're fighting Shogun. And when they said fight, he just ran at him like an absolute maniac. And Shogun was against the fence, bam, 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 just one after the other, like a man possessed. And he totally shocked me. So, I mean, you can never underestimate Paul Craig.
no, never ever rule him out. I'd never bet against him.
Yeah. And by
Amazing.
the, and so disciplined as well. He really is. I mean, for as hard as he fights and as funny he is and what a down to earth guy he is, he's so scientific in his approach, the strength and conditioning that he does, the way he made middleweight. I had a long conversation with him. He brings in all the best experts that he can. He's a very, very dedicated man.
Yeah, really looking forward to that one, and that'll be another one on the night. He can tell us all about it.
Oh
I
yeah, he's going to tell us all about his I don't know if you know his regime for how he has such a luscious beard.
no.
Well, I'll let Paul tell you. It might get him in trouble at home, but it involves fluids of the anatomy from a female. We'll leave it at that.
That is quite incredible and a beautiful mental image to
I know, I'm
carry
sorry,
on
I'm
with.
sorry. There we go. There's a little insight into what the show is going to be like.
And of course, I can't speak to the first ever British UFC champ without talking about our current one, Leon Edwards. His fight with Colby is coming up in December. How do you see that one going? And what did you think of him retaining the belt against Kamaru as well?
Yeah, I mean, certainly when you see how Kamaru looked against Hamza a couple of weeks ago, I mean, it makes that win even more impressive for Leon.
Yeah,
And Leon's really, in a short space of time, in one fight, really grown into becoming the champ. I mean,
yeah,
that performance against Kamaru, it wasn't a stoppage. He didn't get that amazing head kick finish, but it was a pretty dominant performance. I mean, Kamaru showed up, he gave it a good go, but it was a clear victory for Leon
yeah,
all day long. And going up against Colby, we've got to remember Kamaru Usman beat Colby twice. If you look at what Leon did to Colby, I know MMA math doesn't stack up, but it can kind of give you an idea. And stylistically, Colby and Kamaru, they're pretty similar in their approach. And he was able to stop all the takedowns from Kamaru. The difference from Colby is that he's like a little energizer bloody bunny. Get your words out, Bisping. That won't be a problem on the night. He just never stops coming. You know what I mean? He's a cardio machine. So it's a little bit different stylistically, but I've got all the faith in Leon.
yeah. It's going to be a good one, and of course we haven't seen Colby for quite a long time now, so it'd be interesting to see if there's any
Yeah.
ring rust there. Do you believe in ring rust?
I mean, some people like Dominic Cruz know it's all in the mind. Of course, it's all in the mind. Everything's in the mind. When you go out there
Yeah.
and compete in sport like fighting, of course, it's down to the individual. But I think the bigger factor. Oh crap! Oh, you there? Everything just went dark at my end. Anyway, that will not be happening on the night either. Power outages. Colby's not getting any younger either. You know, and he's kind of, I mean, yeah, he fought Masvidal. When was that? Start of last year. So he hasn't been too active. It's a big night for British MMA. Paddy Pimblett's going to be on that card. And in Manchester, I mean, that's going to be the perfect night. If you're an MMA fan, get to come to the show, right? There'll be me, Paul, and Tom. We'll have a proper laugh. We'll have a few beers. It's the perfect warm-up to UFC 296. See Leon defend his belt. Paddy Pimblett returns. Ian Gary's on the card. Maybe we'll throw a little after party in Manchester somewhere and everyone can come along and watch the fights afterwards. I mean, what a night that would be.
What a night indeed. And this weekend we've got Francis Ngannou against Tyson Fury. I'm not really one for these crossover fights, if I'm honest.
God.
But does he have a chance? I heard you saying on the podcast, you know, somebody had asked you if Francis Ngannou really believes he's got a chance.
Yeah.
And I guess he must believe he's got a chance, but I wonder what percentage chance he thinks.
Well, the problem is, no man alive, born of a woman, can beat the son of Gypsy John Fury. No man.
Such a good impression.
He's an absolute nutter in the best way. John Fury, I mean, I'm not sure how I'd feel if that was my dad. And my dad's a nutter, by the way, as well. I'm sure
I've met him a couple of times.
Really? Yeah, them two would get on like a house on fire. You know, and God bless John Fury, he's looking out for his kids, you know. But going back to the fight, listen, I mean, it's two human beings at the end of the day. If you look, I said this on the podcast, so I'm repeating myself, but I'll say it for the people watching this. If you look at the journey of Francis Ngannou, what he's come from, I think it was working in the sand mines or the diamond mines in Cameroon, made his own way across Africa, went to Paris, he was homeless, sleeping on park benches, started MMA, made his way to America, became the UFC heavyweight champion of the world. Now he's fighting Tyson Fury for millions of dollars in Saudi Arabia. I mean, if you can get through that, if you can navigate those waters to even be in that position, that's someone you can never count out. Now, granted, listen, Tyson Fury is incredible, undefeated. Do you know what I mean? So it's a tough ask. And more than likely, Tyson Fury goes out there and dominates the fight, right? You never know. You never know. And Francis, honestly, only needs one punch. Do you know what I mean? He punches that hard. It's ridiculous. So, listen, it's a tough ask. It's probably not going to happen, but you never know. And that's what makes it interesting.
And he's a success story, whatever the outcome. And good to see him get a massive payday as well.
Yep.
Did you ever go into a fight with that kind of doubt or knowing that, you know, I'm sure you always knew you had a chance, but did you ever think, I don't think I'm going to do this, but I'm going to try?
Do you know what? I would love to sit here and be like, yeah, I did it. I was shitting my pants and like try and think of some motivational, inspirational story where I battled my demons. But I was so dumb. I had a fool's confidence. You've got to believe in yourself. You've got to believe in yourself in fighting. If you don't believe in yourself, then you're going to lose. Confidence is absolute key. But of course, you can't have a fool's confidence. So the confidence comes from the preparation and what you've been able to achieve so far. You know, in your career, every step you take, you get bigger. The confidence gets bigger. You get better skills mentally. You're better prepared. You're cutting weight better. You're getting better and better all the time. That's why I didn't win the belt until I was 37. I've always been a slow learner. Yeah, without sounding like a knucklehead, I always thought I could win. Yeah, I didn't always get the job done, but I always thought I could. Yeah.
I think that's important. I think it's, you know, it's hard enough to go in there and get the job done anyway. If you've got any doubt in your mind, I think that's quite debilitating before you even start.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Now, don't get me wrong. There was every fight. There was always nerves. I was always nervous in every fight. I was always concerned. You know what I mean? Every single time. I'm not saying, I went in there with a smile on my face. and cocky. No, that was never the case. But I always thought this is going to be hard, but but I think I can do it, and because otherwise you've got to test yourself. You know what I'm saying? Otherwise you're just a bully. If you're only going out there and picking off easy opponents and people that you know you can beat, where's the fun in that? There's no
Yeah.
challenge there. So, and I was always, kind of outmatched. Physically, I was never the biggest, the strongest, or anything like that. But mentally, I was always very strong. So yeah, I was always nervous, but the nerves are good. The nerves are what keep you
Yeah.
on your toes. The nerves are what get you out of bed in the morning and send you off training. You know what I mean? So you need that. You need that adrenaline, but you got to believe in yourself at the same time as well.
Absolutely. Now we do have some comments from viewers, and I'm a little bit worried that some of your trolls might might be
Okay.
watching this. The just because the people who make you say funny things out loud.
Oh God, yeah, no, they do because I've only got one eye, and I've got this. You might see me. I keep touching my eye because I've got astigmatism in my one eye. So contact lenses don't sit straight, so they're always moving, and everything goes out of focus, and I can't see anything, and it's getting worse and worse by the bloody day. I'm going to be blind by the time I'm 50. So when I'm reading the comments and the text is really small, do you know what I mean? So I just start reading it, and then by the time I finish saying it, I'm like, oh, you bastards. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I'm
Most of
not
it,
going to make you say anything.
yeah, no, it's okay. Most of it's just a good laugh. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Sometimes there's some stuff that I really don't appreciate, but and I let them know there and then. But yeah, listen, I've got a good sense of humor. I don't mind a good joke just as much as the next man. Yeah, so bring it on. What have you got?
Right. So no Glasgow date this time. Some Scottish fans who are upset you're not coming to Scotland with the show. Might you add other dates?
You know what? I'm upset I'm not going to Scotland as well. The crowd were fantastic, and Scotland, what a great place, and just brilliant people, aren't they? So I don't make those decisions. It's not like I sat there and I went, nah, fuck the Scots. They're not good enough for me. And I'm like, yeah, Birmingham, no chance. That's gone downhill, that place. No, it wasn't like that at all. The promoter came back and said, hey, I've got two venues for you, London and Manchester. Are you interested? I was like, yeah, sure. So fingers crossed this goes well. You never know. Next year, maybe we'll do we'll do round 3. But I don't think we'll have Tom Aspinall by then because he'll be the champ and he'll be big time. He'll be living in some big house somewhere, driving a Bentley. So if you want to come see Tom, this is the only chance. But next year in Scotland, wouldn't it be great to bring Paul Craig to Scotland? Wow, that'd be amazing. So yeah, you never know.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Oh, I hope that makes you feel better, Frankie. Lee said, did Lewis pull an Ultimate Warrior and demand more dollars before going on? I think this is in
Nah,
reference to the first show.
all right, I'll be honest. No, it was nothing like that. And me and Lewis, there's no animosity and no bad blood. It's all water under the bridge, so to speak. But he was. Oh God, geez, I don't even want to get into this. But you've asked. I don't want to lie. No, he was doing. He started doing his own. He was doing his own dates around the tour, and the promoter said there's a vicinity clause in the contract. He said you can't. He said it was the contract. I'm not a lawyer. I don't write the contracts, but this was with the promoter. There's a vicinity clause within certain miles, within certain days. You can't be doing another show, otherwise it affects ticket sales. And he basically just refused that. He said, no, I'm not doing that. And then, so at the last minute, he pulled out. He said, right, well, no, he did the show, but he said, I'm not being on stage with you. And I'm like, all right, well, fine. And that's why he's not on the podcast anymore. Because, as I said, it caused many, many sleepless nights. But that was 2 years ago. It's all water under the bridge. I wish him nothing but the best. I still do my podcast on his network, so there's no bad blood or anything like that. Two stubborn assholes. That was about it. That's why I blasted him in the face with a fire extinguisher. You probably didn't see that. In Scotland, he was on stage, and I said, right, it's a final one. Do you know what I mean? So I grabbed the fire. Very, very childish, but that's me all over. He was telling a joke, and he's in mid-conversation, and I walked out of one of his punchlines, and the whole crowd laughed. And I'm sorry, Lewis, if you see this, but it's funny. He probably thought he was getting a good applause, but I was sneaking up behind him with a fire extinguisher, tapped him on the shoulder, and then blasted him in the face. As I say, very childish, but I
How
got a
did he
laugh out of
take
it.
it?
Yeah, he laughed. Lewis has got a great sense of humour.
And then Ken says you need to do more John Fury. That really is a blinding impression.
I just did it, mate. I just did it. No man alive. Oh, God. I can't wait for tomorrow. I mean, did you see it yesterday at the press conference? Tyson and Francis are squaring up. John Fury's got his top off. John's got his top off, and he's trying to get in on the square up. I mean, he's dying for a fight with Mike Tyson. Absolutely dying for it. I know, because and that was his sole purpose, to try and get a fight with Tyson. And Tyson's like very zen-like these days, isn't he? He's very calm and
Yeah.
you know, a lot of
Felt
words
like
of
he might have
inspiration.
smoked a joint before he went
Yeah,
out
I
there.
think he's off his fit most of the time, let's be honest. And he was going on at Tyson, and Tyson was all smiles. But then there was one moment where the look in the eye of Tyson changed, as if to say, you know, don't push it too much, you know. So he's still got that dog in him. But I'll tell you what, I'd pay to see Tyson and John Fury 100%.
I'd pay to see John Fury against anyone, I think.
Yeah, yeah. He needs his own reality TV show. That's what he needs. Never mind Tyson.
Okay, so we wish Tom all the best for his fight. It's going to be incredible. I can't wait to see him when he brings the belt to your show, Tales of the Octagon too. He said you're a massive inspiration to him as well. Obviously, this is a short notice title fight for him, and you paved the way for people to do that. Volk tried this weekend and showed it's not an easy thing to do. But, you know, you are an inspiration for everyone who accepts that challenge.
Well, that's very kind of you to say, and it was very, very touching and kind of Tom to say that. But I don't really feel like that, and I don't necessarily know if that's true. You know, we're all on our own paths, and Tom has been doing this since he was a child. You know, I'll never forget first time I spoke to Tom. It was in a fighter meeting, and he was talking about he came to UFC 70 in Manchester, and he was only about 15, and that makes me feel very old. He was only about 15, and he said, I was at the weigh-ins. He said, and I saw someone came out and they got on stage, and I thought to myself, wow, I want to be that guy. And I was on UFC 70, and I'm thinking, was it me? Was it me? And I said, who was it? Andre Arlovsky. I'm like, you prick. You got me all excited there. But all jokes aside, as soon as I heard the news, obviously I sent Tom a message, and I told him what my coach told me, because going into a situation like this, certainly Sergey Pavlovich is a very dangerous man. Excuse me.
Yeah.
Pardon me. Sergey's a dangerous man, you know, so there will be nerves. It's only natural, something like this. So I told him what my coach told me. Excuse me, I'm just finished working out. I don't know what's going on. I told him what my coach told me, because I went for a run straight away when I booked my fight, and the nerves started coming in, and I started thinking, damn, I'm going to lose this fight, and everyone's going to say I was never good enough, and yada, yada, yada. And my coach said to me, he said, Mike, it's not about the 2 weeks. It's about your entire life. You've been building to this since you were a young boy. So never mind 2 weeks. He said, you just fought Anderson Silva, and, you know, I said, you're fit, you're in shape, and you're ready. You're more ready than you'll ever be. And I basically just echoed that sentiment to Tom, because it's true. He's been doing this a lifetime. I mean, the performance he had against Marcin Tybura, every performance that he's had, to be honest. So he's just going to go out there and seize the day. And this is Tom's moment. It's beautiful of him to say those words, but I'm excited for him and what the future holds.
My theory with when you won the belt was you've mentioned loads of times about overtraining, how you felt that you'd overtrained for certain fights. And I think that's exactly it. You'd spent a lifetime training for that moment. And actually maybe having that rest in the lead up to the fight actually did you a favour.
Massive favour. I felt great. I felt more energized and energetic and fresh. Like Volkanovski was saying, he felt fresh. I felt incredible, because normally, and again, Perillo, my coach, he always told me, because you know when you push yourself to the limit and you're training every day, and of course you've got to do that to a certain degree, but you can overdo it. And I used to want it so badly, and I wanted to give my family the best life possible so badly, and this was my only way. So I wasn't going to be lazy, you know, so I would train, and just drive myself into the ground. But it takes confidence. This is a line from Perillo, but it's so true. It takes confidence to take a day off. It takes confidence to say, do you know what? I'm good. I don't need to do those extra sessions. I don't need to drive myself into the ground. And at a certain point, overtraining is worse than undertraining, because you lose so much muscle, you get tired, and you're just not mentally up for the fight. So yeah, I totally agree. And I think for Tom, given the disciplined athlete that he is and the lifestyle that he lives, having the short notice, I think he's going to do just fine.
Yeah. Well, we wish him all the very best. We wish Paul Craig all the very best with his fight. So we've got Tales of the Octagon 2 is on in the Indigo in London on Thursday the 14th of December. And then it's in the Manchester O2 on Saturday the 16th of December. Where can people buy tickets, Michael?
myticket.co.uk. I'm not sure of the whole link, the / Tales from the Octagon or whatever. Just Google Tales from the Octagon, but it is myticket.co.uk. This time, Rebecca's going to be there. The missus is coming along. Lucas is going to be there. She wouldn't come to the last one. She just refused. I think she's like, I do not want to sit there and watch you make a dick out of yourself. But
the confidence in you.
Yeah, no, I know. She's like, no, listen, I don't want to see you like that. But that one went well. So this time she's going to grace me with a presence. So myticket.co.uk. Hopefully I'll see people there.
Some ticket bandings are starting to sell out. I looked earlier, so be quick. You don't want to miss out. Michael, thank you so much. Looking forward to seeing Tales of the Octagon too.
Thank you very much. Always a pleasure to talk with you. Love your energy. So thanks for having me. Look after yourself, and I'll see you there.
Thank you so much. See you there.